Hi, actually, I'm just gonna do it now. Oh, hey, how's it going? I just finished a video and I was saying I'll do the cards another time. And then I was like, well, what am I waiting for? Just stop that one and start the next one. So here we are. I just did a video talking about happily finding peace on my own over the holiday season, and then not getting a huge influx of like activity, but just, you know, little unexpected sort of gifts of happiness. My neighbor brought me a meal, which is actually not unusual. We sort of go back and forth and share stuff, so it wasn't 100% unexpected, but I also wasn't expecting it. So that was very nice. I mean, it just gave me a good feeling, and I love those. Anyway, so I pulled some cards, and one of the things I talked about was I have an ongoing conversation in my videos, but not everyone has been watching, so I'm just going to do a little catch up here. In the previous video, I was talking about how the holiday season was so much more pleasant than it has been in previous years because of things like loneliness and, you know, feeling like left out or whatever. And throughout the conversation, I reference the teachings, the channeled messages that I like to watch and listen to, because they inform me on my sort of personal mission for, like, you know, what the heck am I here for? And they're just interesting. Like, they're filling in a lot of historical things that, if the information is there, it's for whatever reason not being shared with us. Or, I don't know, like nobody knows or something. It's just a big mystery. So they're filling in a lot of stuff that wasn't there, and it's like I share the videos sometimes, even though they don't really say to share them that often. They're like, you know, just, you don't really need to like foist this upon people. But occasionally I'll share one because it's just fascinating what they're saying, and it's like I believe it 100%. Like, I'm not even gonna say that you know, think what you will, but I believe what these channeled messages from ETs and such are saying. I have my reasons. But if you can't go there, it is at the very least some of the best science fiction out there. It's not fiction, but it's like really interesting, like, to me. So it's not going to be interesting to everyone. And so they often talk about changes that are happening to us as a whole, but they're speaking to a specific group of people. The people that actually are willing to listen and not be put off by what they're saying and where they're saying the message is coming from. Anyway, one of the things they talk about a lot is the shift, which is an umbrella way to say it is the shift would be shifting from one dimension, the third, which we as humanity have been in for, oh my god, like millennia of violence and murder and wars and basically what we're living in right now, like kind of extreme times where certain parties are trying to push other parties forcefully into things they didn't necessarily ask for or want. Like, even the people that encourage this are finding that, like, things have gone way past what they thought they had signed up for, and it is inconveniencing them, to say the least. And it's only begun. So if you're of one state of mind where you're just like, oh my God, this is horrible, this is chaos, why is this happening to me? That's a state of mind that we all eventually graduate from to the next level or dimension, which would be the fourth or fifth. The fourth is sort of a midway. I mean, numerologically, of course, a 4 is going to be between a 3 and a 5, but this dimension stuff is talking about something other than numerological order. But what it does do, what gets us there is change of our consciousness. And when a bunch of us reach that level of new consciousness or raised consciousness is when things begin to happen. Like, I was I was looking at Blue Sky earlier, and there was a couple of conversations talking about, because an article came out talking about the efficacy of protest. And protest is a way of, like, brute forcing everyone's mind into the same direction. And I know that came out crazy, so let me let me try to sweeten that up a little bit. We can protest. It is dangerous to do it a lot of times because of the counter resistance, or law enforcement even, completely, like, just ignoring the Constitution, where we have a right to peacefully protest. Like, people are not out there breaking stuff, vandalizing, but they're being attacked by counter protesters and counter resistance, which would be the police or ICE now, and they're beating the hell out of people. Like, they're taking out every past insult that ever happened to their family line on people. And I feel like that kind of is what's happening. Like, everybody's just free to let loose or something. Very 3D. And so it's like we're seeing the most extreme version of that dimension. And protest is a part of it. A different way to resist is to join together and do things differently. Like, for a while I've been saying that if nobody showed up to all of the jobs, all of the corporations, and all of these big forces that are moving us all over the place and taking things from us and making decisions that are really not theirs to make, because not only are they not in their purview, they have no concept of what they're doing to the people. Like, they don't know the effects of what they've caused. And not only that, they don't care because they think they're doing the right thing. They think they have the right to make decisions for other adult people. And it's like, no, you don't. You have a position of leverage that allows you to do certain things, but you're changing no minds. In fact, you're making minds in a certain way. Probably not what you thought, because we're not just passive resistors. We've been stunned and slow to react, for sure. But when everybody catches up, they're not going to be, acquiescent to all of this force and terrible things, like these terrible ideas these rich guys get, which, they're acting out of complete emotion or something. Like, I'm sorry, but look at Peter Thiel. He's like a total savage. He doesn't know how to behave among civilized people, and he thinks that of everyone else, but he comes from an element of hate, and everybody's lower, a lower order being than he, and it's like, nah, that's just what you're telling yourself. It doesn't happen to be the case. But, you know, here's this guy affecting all of these people's lives, and like Elon Musk, same thing, and not in a good way. So, I mean, we don't have to, it doesn't have to be that way. We don't have to be that way. We don't have to allow these things to happen to us. And the most demonstrative force I feel like the general public has from what we have in our favor is we don't have to keep showing up and running their businesses and making them money. Like, they always act like they work so hard, but it's like, no, the people that work for you do the work. You're an executive. What you're doing, well, it may be stressful, but it's not not like all of your other employees that, you know, you're calling them up on their vacation days with work stuff. It's like, what are you doing? Back off. Like, I don't really want to, well, I'm unemployed currently, but I worked so I could get what I needed done. I didn't do it because I enjoyed showing up for these places. Very few of them. I mean, I worked for a lot of small places where I, you know, knew the owners and stuff personally. That's not what I'm talking about. Those are like the best employers I've ever had. Well, and sometimes not the best, but the corporate ones are even worse. I know you know what I'm talking about, like a Walmart or Amazon or Microsoft or Facebook or X, like those kind of companies. But also, the Koch Industries is owned by the Koch family, and they're right wing, and they are very like, you are ants, and I'm going to step on you and move you the way I want you to move you, because he has money, or the family has money, and that could go away, and then you're just as homeless and broke ass as everyone else. Like, you think like they're just golden, like nothing can happen to them, and that is just not right. But okay, you'll see. But Koch Industries, they have so many products that require so many employees to function and produce. And so, you know, we're starting to realize that these people are sort of taking advantage of us. They are taking advantage of us. And they're deciding that everything is theirs and they won't share with anybody else. You just have to work and shut up and, you know, have a bunch of babies and no medical care and like all of this crazy, like, what kind of asshole are you? Stop. So, stop showing up at the Chipotle. Stop showing up at the Starbucks. Like, all of the Starbucks. How about, like, everybody, like, they don't think that we're serious or that we can do this, but that's because a lot of us don't think we can. All I can say is the freaking bus strike with Rosa Parks. They planned for that before they did it, you know, like, it didn't just spontaneously happen one day. I mean, she might have spontaneously decided that she had enough that day, but they were ready. The black people in the South in that particular situation were ready to stop taking that bus, stop paying those people money to treat you like crap, you know. And so, and that went on for quite a while, and yes, it inconvenienced people, but in the end they got what they wanted, which was, my God, let them sit where they need to, where there's an open seat on the bus when they're tired at the end of the day. Like, so petty, the things that they want to keep away from people. And it's like, that could be you, pal. That could be you. And so They don't think it could, though, these very wealthy people, and they do think that they can just control everybody else and sucker people into it, like, hey, vote for us, we'll do this and that for you. And then look at now. The last president, or this one, made a lot of promises that he didn't really come through on, except for some really ugly stuff. And even that turned on people that really were behind him to begin with, because he's since turned on them. But, you know, if nobody's buying the Starbucks or the Walmart or the Amazon, that's fine for a few days. But how about if the people that work there don't show up? So the people that are still patronizing them can't do it. Sorry, gonna have to wait a few weeks until we decide to go back to work and run those companies, because those executives aren't. They put them at the top, like, oh yeah, he's the chief, blah blah blah. But you know who runs them is the people in there actually doing the jobs, the production. So just stop that flow of income, and you will make them have nightmares and like pee their pants. And oh, come with the violence about it? I don't think that that's a good idea. I'm not gonna like make a big deal of why, but if you know anything about the United States, one thing you should know is you probably shouldn't mess with us. We're kind of crazy and we're armed. So I guess that's two things to watch out for. But that attempt kind of just precludes the violence, really. And then if it happens, the people doing it are going to look really bad, because people don't want to quit their jobs to mess with them. They want to quit working for these people because they're not being treated properly. And we only have, for some reason, we only accept a few ways to deal with the situation in the United States. So, I don't know. I have been seeing a couple people, literally two people, say the same thing, and it's a start. So I did pull some cards, and I'm sort of lost my track there in the middle, but I was heading towards saying that the changes are happening to us, and I think they may also be making some of us at least less aggressive or less inclined to be, and to I don't know. I mean, I think we might finally be getting to a point where we are like seeing the other person's side, who we may have for political reasons made our enemies, and it weren't our political reasons even. You know, we decide to like take on a lot for these people that we vote for and like back. Like, I don't, the Trump people with all of the stuff, like they gotta wear their politics, and it's got to be on their house, and it's got to be like they got to label themselves so everyone knows. Okay, not all of us are that into those people or policies. Like, yeah, I vote a certain way, but it's not my life. So I mean, like, I don't have an obsession with it, I guess is what I'm saying. And those are the people that a lot of us feel like are in for an awakening themselves, probably helped by a spiritual awakening, which is something that is happening a lot, and that changes minds and attitudes. That kind of thing is, I'm going to say, less violent and a lot of ways more effective than like marching and protesting. But that is a belief maybe that more people will come around to down the road. So, changes, I guess, is what I'm talking about here with the cards. I got some Starseed Oracle cards. And I guess the subject is the changes that are happening. And I don't know if we're all aware of them. Like, even if we're aware of changes, I don't know if we're aware of them happening, like, did we feel like, whoop, we all of a sudden are different? Usually not. But that's happening in ways that have never happened in most, I don't think any of our lifetimes. I don't think any of us have seen what's coming. Like maybe several bunch of generations down the line. Not recently. Okay, so first card is Baby Steps. Crossing through, about to cross through a new portal. There you go. And the card reads, action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. On that, all I can say is you know how when something happens and you're faced with a decision, and it doesn't have to be like a big major thing, it could just be like you're watching a show and it's a game show and there's a question. But aren't there times when something has happened and you've had to make a decision and you say, whatever, or you think like it probably starts in your head, the decision, and so the first thing that comes to mind is going to be the right thing. I know, like almost every, like it's probably just going to be the right thing because of your intuition. But what we do is we second guess ourselves and we try to give ourselves plan Bs and think about it too much and change the result because we respond differently to the situation than our first thought. Like, how many times have you said, oh, I knew I had it right the first time, or I knew I had it right the first time? That's when your intuition tells you what to do, and then you don't take the action. So that is like second nature. Like, I really have had to break myself out of doing that, and it's not like a completed job. I'm still like retraining myself not to second guess myself. So this card is saying, don't do that. Don't do what I'm saying and second guess yourself, and because you're kind of robbing yourself of what would happen if you just followed your intuition and didn't question it. So when you feel like something, take the action. Don't question it so much, because that's gonna change everything. Like it's gonna change your outcome. The perfect time to get nauseated. Okay. Next card is the Cosmic Heart. So, the card reads, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. So, that, again, ties to what I was just saying, where you trust your intuition, and in a way, it's more... a more authentic path of living your life. Like we're just talking about following and trusting your intuition. Like, don't question it, just do it, because the first thing that came to mind is going to be the right thing, the right answer, and the right thing to do. It may not look like it at the time, but don't question it, because like, I feel like you're interfering with, like, the cosmic play of things. So, devotion. It takes dedication for me to remember to not second guess myself and just go with the flow. Potency. You can be more powerful than you think. So this is not an exact translation, but well, I was just talking about the efficacy of protesting and how it's a risk to go out there. You could go to jail, maybe you could get beaten up, you could get pepper sprayed or tear gassed. There could be some nut with a gun out there. Like, it's risky. And I think one of the reasons why it's effective is, well, it tells whoever you're protesting against, like, the power of the peoples that are like, hey, we really have a problem with this. Like, it's more than like phone calls to the office, But it is also incredibly potent to be able to channel your energy to do that sort of resisting, rather than placing your body in between you and whatever you're resisting. And also, if it's more than, same with like protesting and marching, the more of us that do it at once, that is what will change things in even more magnitude than marching, because it is at the heart of whoever's mind is changed. Like, changing your mind is not a precise way of defining changing your consciousness, which is like a thing, something you do with layers of depth and information, and you both learn things and at the same time employ sort of heart wisdom to the situation, where you're not fighting with the people that you're engaging with, or you're not engaging, because that even sounds like some sort of a little bit violent, but you're more communing with those people that have the opposite opinion. And in this time where there's like solar flashes and all kinds of solar activity that's affecting us, and the gamma and other waves from space that definitely are doing things to us that I don't know that we ever thought that they could, so I don't think we ever were really looking for it. But it's that, in combination with what we do, is what's changing things and our minds and the whole landscape. I mean, just think about it. Like, if you are assembling something or creating something without force or violence, and people are willingly giving themselves to the cause for the reasons that are not selfish, unless all you care about is everybody getting a share.
I am so excited that Fitbit is always
well, nobody asked. Please go away.
44 milligram option.
I am so sorry. Actually, quiet down over there. So, make your life a moving prayer. Well, what do we do when we pray? We ask for things to change, or for what we want or what we need. Part of that shifting in the way that we decide things has to do with and always has had to do with the way we live our lives, because how about you get more flies with honey than vinegar? You know, like, how are we presenting to achieve what we're trying to achieve that we want and need the help of other people with? Like, I would be way more willing to go do something even odious, if I were asked the right way. I mean, it doesn't mean that I need you to like tempt me with the right prize or gift for doing it. Just ask the right way, you know. Don't take and lie to me, you know. Don't make promises you're never going to keep. I mean, I don't know what I could do more than say that if I feel like that's happened to me, which it has. But what I do know I can count on is that the way they chose to live their life will have repercussions or karma. So kind of don't even have to worry about, you know, when somebody is doing something wrong to you, if you don't do anything crappy back, you should be just fine. Like, the situation will take care of itself. You do dirt, and dirt's going to come back to do you, basically. And so you want to live your life where you don't invite that. In fact, you want to live your life where you invite, you know, like, good, how, in whatever form. If you do good things for other people, they're going to be inclined to come back and do things for you in your time of need, or maybe just for the heck of it, just because you did something nice for them, just because. That goes a long way, you know. I mean, a grudge goes a long way too. It can stick in your craw or some other soft part of your inner emotional body for a real long time, and then you're going to be like the only one that can really remove it or eject it. So in order to be able to do that, you have to have yourself in a certain consciousness and receptivity and all of the things that are sort of the opposite of getting angry and lashing out and harming. So, I don't know, live your life good, live your life like a prayer, like you, as if you had all of the things that you might pray for in your life already. Like, your life is already good. So, okay, the next card is Child of the Cosmos. A lot of ladies in cosmic prom dresses in this deck. The card reads, the intelligence of the universe lies within you. That's what I was just talking about. It's not as black and white as all of that, but if you have the understanding that the universe does things in a certain way, like, it will account for actions and reactions all on its own. Like I was just saying, like, we don't really have to interfere with a lot of things. We just have to, you know, keep right ourselves. Like, don't do things to other people. Don't take anything from them physically, emotionally. Like, I'm thinking of Diddy because he lured so many people in such a terrible way, because when you mix horror with, like, sex, which is often equated with love, you got a messy mess, and it's really hard to untangle your emotions from and extricate yourself from in other mental ways. Like, I don't know, like, keep your hands to yourself unless you want to help, unless, you know, your hands are invited to do things. I don't know, there's a way to live your life and be right and happy, actually, and, you know, the better you are, the better your life is. The more you do for other people, the more good things come to you, because people are willing to go out of their way for you, it's funny, like, no one has to do anything for anyone, but why not? We're here. Who else is going to help us but each other? And it doesn't mean like, oh, not me, call the cop. I mean, all of us should just understand that if everything were taken away, like all of the trappings of power and authority, we'd all just be a bunch of naked little people running around with the same problems and the same ability to help each other or not. So I don't know, when you break it down to that level of bareness, it's kind of hard to miss, like, what is the good thing to be doing and what is the bad thing to be doing, because there's nothing to hide anything. Okay, next card is surrender to the sweetness. Oh, bathing gown. Formal bathing cloak. What the hell is she wearing? The guy in the water is like, girl, come on in. Like, I'll be here all day, but how long is it going to take you to get out of that outfit? Sorry, I just went a little crazy. So, surrender to the sweetness. Well, maybe that's what he's saying. Come on in the water and surrender to my sweetness. And the card reads, Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to life. I mean, I don't even know what to add to that. Maybe when you make a prayer of your life and you live good and you live right and you use that intelligence of the universe inside of you, and you are like above and beyond petty matters, and you understand that when you give, you often get back. And this, I guess, is like a representation of, be sweet and be sweet and receive sweetness in return. I mean, that's just an idea of what you could possibly be looking forward to, but it does look pretty nice. Okay, next card is Starkeeper. That looks Egyptian. The face. They did have, like, the repository of knowledge. Not just the average Egyptian, because it wasn't shared. That consciousness level thing. Like, some people can't be given certain information because they'll misuse it. We know that. So the card reads, Cosmic Ancestor, seed the light by staying grounded. That is a card for the times. So, if you are like me, want to get through these times as best as possible, where there's a lot of sort of polar opposite stuff happening, and for some reason people think that's a reason to fight. I don't know. It doesn't have to be. I don't know why we're like that, but some of us starseeds, there's a lot of names you'll hear, like light shower, light worker, way shower, love worker. But mainly what we are supposed to be is like emotional anchors, I think. We have a vast capability. Like, we often do only a few things and become exhausted, but we really have a greater capacity than we realize. And not everything requires physical activity that's tiring in that way. So, anchors, people that can, like, hold it together and not get completely unraveled by fear and by what we're seeing, because if it seems like the action is amping up and up and up, especially in the case of the United States with these Epstein files, which by the way, do not confine themselves only to the United States. It's just that Epstein was American, so we got stuck with him, but he stuck some other people, and I'm really sorry about that. Like, oh, I feel terrible for the people who were attacked, basically, when in his proximity, the people that he lured and his contingent of pervs lured to him to have terrible things done to him, and they were lied to too. Like, nobody can just, can't you just say I'm gonna do like whatever the terrible thing is to you? Like, why you gotta like wrap it up in fake sweetness and like ruin sweetness for someone? What is wrong with you? So and then we got, you know, all kinds of things happening, being perpetrated. It seems like by order of the president to obscure the thing that he's so afraid of becoming public. But the more he does, the more, like, everybody already was predicting that, okay, we're still talking about the Epstein files and they're still showing us bullshit. Like, they're not doing it the way they were directed. They're hiding a bunch of stuff they're not supposed to be hiding. They're defying the lawful order of what they're supposed to do. And so they're fearful. And that often makes people angry. The population, the public, is angry because they're being lied to yet again. And that gets old. And so I'm just saying, they're not banking great feelings. And so for things to stay calm and good, we kind of have to stay calm and not give in to our emotions that are being whipped up by all of these manufactured events. And it involves a lot of cruelty and death, so it's really hard to accept. But here's another point, though, that I often also talk about, those channeled messages from the ETs, and that I have learned that, you know, we're here, like, we are here as volunteers during this time because we're in a time where we're not really safe from, what the heck? We're not really safe from, like, the attacks, sort of, from each other. And we're influencing each other, and people want what they want without regard for the other people. And there's just a lot of unfairness and ugliness out there, alongside all of the beauty and joy that gets buried because for some reason, well, there is a reason, and it's called, if it bleeds, it leads. So the most terrible possible thing is going to be on your news first. I don't know, maybe stop watching the news so much. But, I mean, they know how to draw eyes and ears, and horrible, terrible, really sad things will draw us right in. And so we need the anchors of people that are like, yes, this happens, yes, this is happening, but the thing is that for every terrible thing that's happening, they're a part of the whole continuum of everything that's happening. Like, because we have been living in this polar existence, we got this stuff over here we call bad, and this stuff over here we call good, and we have to resolve it within ourselves, mainly, because if we're not all going, ooh, this is a bad thing, and giving it power that way and feeding it with our fear and making it bigger, we're just making something a larger hurdle for ourselves to surmount, because fear is the mind killer. We cannot think straight when we're angry and afraid. And so we need people to be able to, we need the people that can say, this is deliberate, this is happening, this is fake news, this is manufactured crisis. And so it helps the people that are freaking out. But by being grounded, this means a particular thing, like grounded like a tree. You know, like you put your sacral roots into the ground, and that way emotionally provide stability for the fearful and the angry and the ones acting out because they know not what they do, kind of thing. Okay, and so the last card, this went pretty long. Last card is the Seven Star Sisters, which is, to my mind, a reference to the Pleiades constellation, where the Pleiadians come from, the Pleiadians, and they have been the shepherds of life on Earth since there was an Earth to talk about. They've been around a long time. So the card reads, birthing creations like us, like humanity and life, other life on Earth, tapestry of life, like humanity and all the other life on Earth, expression. Well, for those of us that are aware of them and hear them, they do advise us to be calm and to stay in love, like a loving state of mind and being. And it really is the harder road to travel, because it is so easy to get angry. It is so easy to be angered. And I don't know why we make that the priority when it shouldn't be. It's backwards. It's like something we have to get out of. So I also pulled a card from the Body Oracle, and I got the Pelvis, which the pelvis is a, okay, well, here's what it says. Release rigidity to gain insight. The pelvis is a place where a lot of sort of, I think, our root and sacral chakra stuff that we don't process, that stays sort of in a lower end vibration. And I think it's like the reservoir of our anger and fear. I think that's where it might live, and it can get trapped there, and it locks up. I was looking at the significance of the pelvis, and one of the things it was saying is that it gets rigid, which I'm not sure if that's an analogy or not. But if you can't move it and it's locked up tight, whatever's there can't flow or move. And like I said, it's in that area of sort of like the low end vibrational energy, and emotionally that manifests as like fear and anger and loneliness and sadness. And we are all better off if we're not in those places emotionally and dealing with our lives and with people, because when we're weaker and not feeling our best and up to our highest capacity, I guess, we could be under attack from like illness, or those people that can just look at you and know exactly how to push your buttons without saying a word. Hate those people. But whatever it is that's out there, whatever slings and arrows could weaken us, and that just makes us vulnerable to other forms of lower energy sort of attacks, or it might even draw us into it so that we start doing the things ourselves. So it's an important area to keep clear. I recently found a channel that tells you all of these ways to clear areas of blockage in our body. So I'm going to link a video about the pelvis and sort of cleansing the area on there at the end, or on here I should say, on the video in the information box. I'll link that. So I guess I'm done. Like, the cards are just talking about like sort of moving around in this new earth, really, because the 3D, we don't have to be there anymore. We can like let that go. 4 to 5D, oh my gosh, so much lighter, so much better. And I swear, I think that's where I was. Oh, that's in the other video. Well, look at the previous video, but I think that's where I was on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I think I just moved into that lighter dimension. It felt good. Anyway, thank you and good night.